Never in my wildest dreams did I fathom the day when I would find myself subjected to such a profound sense of humiliation, bowing to a scenario I never envisioned. Even as our marital bond, still in its nascent stages, retained a semblance of freshness, I diligently endeavored to acquiesce to the demands of this woman in my own unique way. Alas, it appears that my efforts have all been in vain, leading me to ponder whether she might indeed be of extraterrestrial origin, a plausible explanation for her bewildering demeanor. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Karen, a 29-year-old denizen of the corporate realm, perhaps influenced by the predilections of my game-loving elder brother. From my early years, I harbored a deep fondness for games, particularly those of the role-playing variety that transported me to fantastical realms. The realm of social media, which I embraced a few years ago, became a conduit for forging numerous connections, one of which metamorphosed into matrimony with a certain Jacob. United by our shared love for a specific game, we embarked on a journey characterized by joint excursions to procure the latest gaming releases. The foundation of Jacob's family consists of his parents, Mary and Bianca. Mary, often away on solitary assignments, graced the familial abode infrequently, leaving the day-to-day responsibilities in the hands of his devoted wife. Adding a layer of complexity, Jacob's grandmother, Mary's mother, resides with them, grappling with the effects of Alzheimer's disease and a recent decline in hearing, rendering communication a challenge. As I settled into a life seemingly devoid of care-giving responsibilities, the tranquility of my existence was abruptly shattered by an unexpected phone call. On a rare day off, engrossed in my favorite game after completing household chores, an unfamiliar sound echoed through the room, a ringtone. Given the rarity of incoming calls, I momentarily forgot my own ringtone. Upon seeing the displayed name, Bianca, a wave of tension washed over me. Answering the call with trepidation, I was met with an unexpected tone, one laced with sarcasm. "You're late," she chided, insinuating that it was common sense for a working adult to promptly respond to a superior's call. Suppressing the instinct to hang up, I responded apologetically, only to be met with further criticism. "Fulfill your duties as Jacob's wife," she admonished, instructing me to visit the parents-in-law home on my next day off before abruptly ending the call. In the aftermath of this bewildering encounter, I found myself in a state of daze, questioning the rationale behind such sarcasm in a call I rarely received. Contemplating the option of ignoring it, I couldn't ignore the fact that she was, after all, Jacob's mother. Deciding to adopt a more patient stance, I informed Jacob about the call that evening, receiving a modicum of solace from his reassurance that I need not trouble myself with the visit. Despite the reassurance, a lingering sense of irritation lingered. In moments like these, I sought refuge in a place I habitually frequented after the conclusion of my workday, a sanctuary where I could unravel the complexities of life and reflect on the unexpected twists it throws our way. "Hello there. If it isn't Karen." Lisa from the pottery school approaches me with a warm smile, eager to share a moment of conversation. Despite the age gap, Lisa, who is about the same age as my grandma, exudes strength and is always willing to lend an ear to my life's challenges. In many ways, she's become a maternal figure to everyone in our pottery community. While the pottery sessions are undoubtedly enjoyable, what draws me here consistently is the opportunity to talk to Lisa. She possesses a unique ability to provide comfort and guidance, making her a valuable confidant. During one of our interactions, I excitedly recount a recent call from Bianca, only to be met with a barrage of sarcasm. Lisa, ever the patient listener, reassures me and encourages me to dismiss the negativity. She wisely notes that individuals who make such outdated comments are often lenient with themselves, sharing an anecdote about her son's wife, who displays a similar mindset. Grateful for Lisa's understanding, I find solace in her words. Determined to rise above the negativity, I decide to follow through on Bianca's advice and visit my in-laws' home. However, the encounter is less than pleasant, with Bianca criticizing my punctuality in an authoritarian manner. Despite my efforts to remain calm, Bianca's demanding attitude leaves me frustrated. I ponder the necessity of adhering to her rigid expectations, questioning whether her seemingly arbitrary rules are worth my compliance. The tension peaks when Bianca abruptly informs me that I am to handle housework and care for someone secluded in the back room during my days off. Frustrated and disillusioned, I watch Bianca leave without a clear explanation for her demands. I vow not to open my heart to this challenging individual, determined to stand my ground against unreasonable expectations. The once kind facade presented during previous encounters with Mary and Jacob has crumbled, revealing a more difficult reality. As I reflect on the encounter, I am left contemplating the complexities of communication and the challenges of maintaining relationships with those who exhibit demanding and inflexible behaviors. As I contemplated the idea of simply retreating without taking any action to avoid another round of scolding, a realization struck me. I hadn't yet had the opportunity to meet my grandmother-in-law. Bianca had informed her about my absence, but due to a lack of comprehension on her part, she had autonomously decided that my presence was unnecessary at the family wedding. Interestingly, our wedding ceremony had been a modest affair with only a simple meal, and subsequent plans for Jacob and me to jointly greet his grandmother had been thwarted by our mismatched days off. Regrettably, we never managed to coordinate our schedules, and the intention was left unfulfilled. With a tinge of embarrassment, I opened the entrance door, only to be confronted by a shocking scene within the confines of the home. The living space, which had previously been clean and orderly, now resembled a potential disaster zone. It wasn't exactly a garbage house, but it seemed destined to become one. The room was cluttered with various items and a massive pile of laundry, whether washed or unwashed, sprawled across the floor. The kitchen sink was stacked with dishes, and dust had accumulated in the neglected corners, creating a visibly appalling atmosphere. As I pondered the sudden deterioration of the living conditions, I heard noises emanating from the back room. Determined to fulfill my duty of greeting my grandmother-in-law, I mustered the courage to enter the room. Excusing myself, I was taken aback by the disarray before me. Reflecting on the events leading up to this moment, it became evident that Bianca, despite her insistence on delegating my wife's duties to me, was not diligently fulfilling those responsibilities herself. It seemed that she spent most of her days outside the home, returning late at night. Despite my obedient compliance, Jacob, always immersed in his toys, had finally brought home a wife. However, the reality was that this newfound spouse seemed to act more like a stranger than a responsible housekeeper. As I continued to visit the parents-in-law's home out of concern for my grandmother-in-law, Jacob expressed satisfaction with our growing bond. However, with each visit, I couldn't help but observe the increasing neglect of the household by Bianca. In an effort to address the situation, I reported all her actions to Jacob, who, in turn, repeatedly apologized for her behavior. Despite Jacob's suggestion to refrain from visiting that house anymore, I persisted due to my concern for his grandmother. In time, Bianca's dissatisfaction with my obedience became apparent, especially when she cautioned me about an upcoming memorial service for Jacob's late grandfather. It seemed that people would gather for the occasion, and she sternly instructed me not to utter anything unnecessary during the event. With a calm smile, I assured Bianca of my compliance, though her dissatisfaction lingered. The memorial service marking Jacob's grandfather's death anniversary loomed ahead, a somber reminder of the complexities within the familial dynamics I found myself navigating. I entered into matrimony with Jacob, an individual widely acknowledged for his gentle and kind demeanor. Our relationship was further adorned by the harmonious rapport he shared with my grandmother-in-law, with whom he used to embark on delightful journeys. Jacob often recounted their outings, highlighting the endearing gesture of always holding hands. Tragedy struck when my grandfather-in-law succumbed to cancer. Despite the emotional toll, my grandmother-in-law cared for him. Receiving little assistance from the indifferent parents-in-law, the lack of support was nothing short of incredulous. As preparations for an upcoming event unfolded, Bianca, an integral part of the family, emphasized the importance of arriving early, urging everyone to be punctual. When the day of the memorial service finally arrived, Bianca reiterated the need for punctuality, specifying a 30-minute early arrival. Eager to comply, I arrived an hour ahead, only to be met with Bianca's displeasure. She admonished me for being excessively early, revealing a side of her personality that I had not anticipated. As I busied myself with preparations, Bianca's demeanor grew increasingly irritable. When a staff member from a renowned local steakhouse arrived with the catering, memories of dining at the establishment with Jacob flooded my mind. The delectable cuisine, although a rare treat due to its cost, left a lasting impression. Attempting to assist with the arrangements, I found myself pushed aside by Bianca, who engaged in a flirtatious exchange with the handsome staff member. This unexpected behavior further highlighted her unpredictable nature. Despite my efforts to contribute, Bianca demonstrated her lack of consideration by deliberately excluding a meal portion for me. The revelation left me stunned and indignant, especially given the significance of the occasion and the gathering of people. Bianca's callous remark, comparing me to a housekeeper fit only for dog food, further heightened my sense of humiliation. In a moment of defiance, I resorted to a comical outburst, shouting at Bianca in an imaginary alien language. The unexpected and peculiar behavior momentarily startled her, revealing a hint of fear on her face. This bizarre encounter left me convinced that understanding Bianca's mindset was an insurmountable challenge, akin to attempting communication with an extraterrestrial being. The perplexing nature of our interactions reinforced my belief that some people remain enigmatic, defying comprehension even in a lifetime of acquaintance. Are you completely out of your mind? Are you seriously mocking me right now? I've been tolerating your behavior for an extended period, and I must express my displeasure with living in the same household as someone as unpleasant as you. Frankly, I don't know what has gotten under your skin, but living like this is unbearable. If this is some twisted attempt at humor on your part, well, congratulations, because it's not amusing. I've had enough of it. Have you ever considered the toll it takes on someone to endure constant mockery and nastiness? I'm at my wit's end with this situation. I'm starting to think that perhaps the best solution for both of us would be to pursue a divorce. Have you ever entertained that thought? Oh, but wait. That would inconvenience you, wouldn't it? You'd have to find another housekeeper, and that would be a waste of money, right? Just as I was grappling with these thoughts, Bianca launched herself at me, attempting to grab hold of me in a disgraceful manner. "Stop it!" I exclaim, feeling the embarrassment and frustration building up. And then, as fate would have it, Jacob, my father-in-law Mary, along with Mary's brother and his wife, who lived far away, appeared on the scene. Bianca was so engrossed in our argument that she hadn't noticed their arrival. It seemed they had been observing the whole spectacle. It was a surreal moment, and the tension in the room escalated. Jacob and the others intervened, bringing a sudden halt to our argument. Bianca, whether due to Mary's influence or the shock of the situation, became subdued. It was a chaotic moment, and I couldn't fathom how long they had been watching. The priest was scheduled to arrive for a memorial service, and the atmosphere remained tense. The service concluded modestly, and it was time to share a meal. However, my grandmother-in-law excused herself, claiming not to feel well. Amidst the chaos, Mary commented on the quality of the steak, trying to diffuse the tension. I found myself bustling around, attending to various tasks, trying to keep a semblance of normalcy. "Come eat too, Karen," "You don't need to do all this," my aunt-in-law kindly called out. As I pretended to be dejected about not having a steak, I dodged the awkward situation by suggesting they ask Bianca about it. Cindy, with a discerning gaze, confronted Bianca, who stammered out a ridiculous excuse about ordering the wrong number of steaks. Cindy's suspicion grew, but I couldn't possibly reveal the truth. I pointedly mentioned that Bianca had prepared dog food for me instead of steak, creating an unexpected twist in the evening. Bianca's face turned pale, and the room fell silent. Jacob questioned my actions, but Bianca remained silent, unable to defend herself. Mary, attempting to lighten the mood, made a joke about adapting to the local customs. Trying to divert attention, I called for my ace in the hole, Lisa. Lisa, who turned out to be the grandmother-in-law, emerged from the back room, surprising everyone in the room. The connection between us was revealed, as Lisa and I had previously worked together on household chores. The revelation added another layer of astonishment to the already chaotic situation. As the truth unfolded, the tension in the room gradually dissipated. It was a series of unexpected events that turned a heated argument into a bizarre and comical family gathering. Little did we know that beneath the surface of our seemingly dysfunctional household, there were connections and surprises waiting to be discovered. One delightful evening, Lisa and I decided to dine out and take leisurely walks, relishing the time spent together. The warmth of our companionship made me particularly happy as we visited Lisa's parents-in-law's home. Interestingly, Lisa had requested that I refrain from revealing the details of our relationship to her family, a promise I gladly kept. Despite the joyous moments, I couldn't shake off the frustration from Bianca's unreasonable words. However, I consoled myself with the understanding that such challenges would eventually pass. A peculiar incident unfolded during a memorial service that Lisa opted to skip, primarily to avoid the uncomfortable gazes of her parents-in-law. Even in the face of adversity, Lisa continued to pray for her late grandfather-in-law's happiness. As the evening progressed, Mary, puzzled, questioned his mother about Alzheimer's, a misconception stemming from an encounter with Bianca. Lisa, who had hoped for a peaceful life with her husband, found herself living with her in-laws due to financial decisions. The tension in the air heightened as Lisa expressed her desire for independence, only to be met with opposition from her mother-in-law. Bianca, feeling cornered, was confronted by Lisa for her unreasonable behavior and assumptions. Lisa's revelation about the voice recorder hidden in her pocket further escalated the situation. With each playback, the truth unfolded, leaving Bianca pale-faced and the surrounding atmosphere tense. Cindy, a relative, couldn't help but burst into laughter after learning about Bianca's lack of work experience and a life of leisure. It became apparent that Bianca's existence was marked by constant arguments with Mary, who, as rumored, maintained a fake relationship while engaging in adulterous behavior. The family drama reached its peak when Lisa, disgusted by the revelations, sternly demanded Bianca and Mary to leave. The once precious home, filled with memories of Lisa's deceased husband, was no longer a place for them. Lisa, fueled by a sense of justice, severed ties with her son, condemning him as a trash son. Mary, fleeing the house in response, faced the consequences of his actions, while Jacob, having left home earlier, escaped the familial turmoil. In the end, the evening that began with simple pleasures and walks unfolded into a tumultuous revelation, laying bare the complex dynamics and secrets that had festered within the family for far too long. I understand that your schedule is quite hectic due to work commitments, but it would mean a lot if you could spare some time to visit occasionally. Lisa expressed her sentiments to Jacob with a touch of sadness, acknowledging the challenges posed by their somewhat unconventional parents. As Jacob and I departed from the house, we were met with an unexpected encounter. Bianca, seemingly infuriated, pursued us, urgently, urging for a resolution to what she perceived as a misunderstanding. The threat of potential trouble lingered if she were to be ousted, a consequence she acknowledged. Reflecting on the situation, I couldn't help but think that perhaps such troubles could have been avoided had she refrained from harassing me earlier. However, the opportunity to rectify the situation had passed, and her words were now rendered ineffective. In the midst of this turmoil, I couldn't help but voice my sarcastic perspective on Bianca's choices, questioning why she chose not to engage in gainful employment and instead opted for a lifestyle that appeared to deviate from societal norms. Despite her continued shouting as I entered the car, I remained indifferent, allowing her to grapple with the consequences of the life she had chosen. The aftermath revealed the intricate web of relationships and betrayals among our former family members. Bianca sought refuge at Mary's place, only to discover that he was already cohabiting with his mistress, resulting in Bianca's swift dismissal. To compound matters, it was unveiled that Bianca herself had engaged in an extramarital affair, leading to legal repercussions. The damages sought by the offended wife of the married man, with whom Bianca was involved, offset some of the consequences of the infidelity within our former family. Despite the shared history and complicated relationships, the revelations hardly mattered to me anymore. The former in-laws, once connected by marriage, now seemed like strangers. Jacob echoed my sentiments, expressing a lack of lingering attachment to his former parents and a firm decision to sever ties. In a turn of events, Jacob and I made a collective decision to reside in the once uncomfortable and tainted home of the former in-laws. A transformative effort ensued as we discarded the remnants of Bianca's presence, altering the interior significantly to create an entirely new living environment. Surprisingly, Lisa, despite her age, exhibited a remarkable energy, and I gladly committed to caring for her should the need arise. Looking ahead, the future held the promise of growth for our family, as we anticipated the arrival of a new member next year. With a sense of excitement, we looked forward to cultivating a happy and fulfilling life together as a family unit. The once tumultuous past was now replaced with a hopeful vision for a harmonious future.